Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It is May the 9th, and I am running late. I'm behind today, and I apologize to each one of you for being late today. I was working on something quickly. I hope Brother Mark catches me because I know many of you all are waiting on me today. Some of you are waiting on me. The message and the information that we have for you is good and great as always. It's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. For the last couple of weeks, I've been off and on because on Fridays I've been having surgical procedures. Next Friday I'll have another one, and then 2 weeks after that, hopefully my final one. And so you all keep me in prayer. But I do want to just give you the information that we have for you on a regular basis, and I'm excited to share with you, from the point of view that faith based, but you're yet fundable. There are so many organizations out and some individuals now posting on Facebook and all the Instagram and so many other ones. And I'm grateful because a lot of the new and young generation they're out here sharing with you the message that I've been sharing literally since 2004, over 20 years of doing nonprofit development, organizational development, management since the early 2000s, back in 2000, and I want to say in 2002, when my son's organization, they were working to go on the road as musicians. He was in a group that did well and recorded some albums and traveled. And they were looking to raise some funds, and then, I got involved in helping them do so and learn how to do fundraising. And during that time of learning fundraising, one of the things I realized that there were a lot of individuals, a lot of organizations, specifically faith-based organizations, that were afraid of it, that were not ready for it because of the faith-based initiative that was launched by President Clinton and then the early first President Bush in the early 2000s, and then during that time frame. And so I got involved and became one of the leaders in the state of Ohio. Very grateful for that through my mentor, Brother Bob Woodson, in the Woodson Center out of Washington, D.C. Back then, it was called the National Center for Neighborhood Enterprises. We have been doing and talking about this faith-based initiative since way back then. And so I'm grateful to the newer people who are coming on board and sharing it. Because back then, I wrote a book called Taxes and Tithes, It's Your Money. It was in book form, but today we're able to use social media like now to share with you those same type of concepts that we were talking about traveling around. We had to go to seminars, and we were traveling around the state of Ohio and other parts of the country talking about how to get faith-based organizations funded for the visions that they have. Because oftentimes we're doing ministry, but not really missions. Come on, somebody. But there's a way to fund what you already doing by just basically changing the name. And that's what I love about the individuals now that are posting. They're saying the same thing today using social media, as I said. That Dr. Woodson, Brother Woodson, myself, and so many other people that work together with me, or I work with them around the country, sharing this message about faith-based fundraising. And so before I actually get into that, and I want you to know, don't be afraid of it. So, one of those things that challenged me to help people like yourself was many of the faith-based organizations or churches were afraid of it, and that's because they didn't understand it. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Brother Mark. Good to have you with me as always. And so, remember, if you know somebody that needs this information, share it with them on your network. You can share it, you can copy and paste it, you can send them to me, and I'll be more than happy to do so. Send them to my website for more information, wepeatinc.com. There on that site, you can learn some information, but you can also connect to my book, 5 R's for Successful Fundraising. You can get a course. We can connect with you, and you can also connect with me. Go to my Calendly and schedule calendar and schedule some time to be with me. Also, I suggest to everybody, go to, in fact, if you're here, you go here to Linktree. You can schedule and connect to all of my social media links. And that way you can become a part of it with this here, for example, here. You're able to go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, become a subscriber. and watch all of the videos, both for the 1 minute prayer videos, but also the videos we've been doing again. I've been doing this right here for over 44 years. Brother Mark and I have been partnering now for quite a long time, him and his wife, Doris, my wife, Ella. We've been doing these things for over, I want to say, good 4 years right here online. I've exploded it since I retired in 2000 and really 2003 from the university where I was teaching this type of work. I was even teaching it on the college level. So when I say that, there's a term that says nothing new under the sun. I'm grateful for the younger generation, the next generation of fundraisers and grant writers that's sharing the same thing, because what it really does is remind people that the worth that they have. And I found out that even in the church, as she's talking about, some others, there's about 3 of them, talking about how to help the churches. I'm doing that type of seminar and work with my people here right now. So, get ready to gain the knowledge and make it a real difference. For personal support, if you want to learn that one-on-ones or what you're trained, we can come and train your whole organization. We're doing that here in Melbourne, Florida, for an organization, doing a training for them. I'm working with a team out of Atlanta, Georgia, doing the training directly for them. And so there are a lot of things we can do to help you grow your organization from startup to sustainability. But most of all, get your vision off that paper and put it on the pavement, and let's go to work. How do you feel about that? Does that sound good? And so let me leap into some things today that I think when I first started working on this, I was really working on it specifically as starting a nonprofit arm for your church, or from ministry to mission. And I still think that we need to have that conversation, even in the faith-based arena, because a lot of faith-based organizations are doing ministry work. But how to turn that ministry work into a mission? How do you take your food program that you're doing out of the basement of your home or a little bit building? How do you do that? Because for you, it's a ministry. God called you to do it. But how do we turn that ministry into a mission to where it's fundable, and the terminologies and the things that you want to do with people to help you get the funding that you need? Because you're raising money, you're asking people to donate, you're asking people to give to you. But there's a way to raise money. There are funders out there, believe this. There are people out there that are willing to fund your mission, not your ministry, but they're willing to fund your mission, the work that you do. I tell people all the time, like today, what we're doing right now, this is my mission. On Wednesdays at 9 a.m. is my ministry, the 1 Minute Prayer International Ministry. But the Kingdom Fundraising Network and Academy is a mission to help you grow what God has called you to do. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Academy in a little bit if I don't forget. But those are the things that I'm getting at. How do I help you fund and grow your ministry? Huh? So let me be clear about it. Let me try to help you clear some things up. Your calling doesn't need to shrink to fit the funding. It needs to be structured so that your vision speaks the language of impact and partnership. Is that clear? Did that kind of help you out? There you go. I want to, that's what I really want you to understand. Your vision, huh? Your mission, it doesn't have to shrink. You don't have to change things. You just want to change the name of the what you're doing. And I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes. So let me show you how to start that process and give you something you can do before we even end today. It's something you can do right now. One of the things I try to do every week is give you something hands-on, a call to action so that you can go to work. So, you're already doing the work. You're already ministering. And so you're already doing what it takes to meet the needs out there. So what are you trying to really do? I'm going to echo some of the things that I've even heard online today. And again, if you go to Amazon, if you go to Amazon, you can find the book, Taxes and Ties, It's Your Money. Now, again, think about this. That book was written in 2006. And it guided churches all the way back in Youngstown, Ohio. We had a team of churches called the Pathway Partner Group. And those team of churches would meet with me monthly. We would find and talk about ways to shape their vision, how to rewrite their programs so that it would give the impact and partnership to the funders that they were looking for. So as I say, these things are not new. We did it I'm all the way back to 2006, 2008. We traveled. There's a team of individuals. We met online yesterday back with Bishop Eddie Long back in those days. It was him who really told me, Pastor, Brother Peterson, quit writing notes and this and make it a book. And when you go do these seminars, you can have the book out for people to buy to use, and then they can train through there. So that's how the vision of Taxes and Tithes, It's Your Money came out. And I'm hearing in my spirit now to re-release it as Taxes and Tithes 2. Now, we already have the 5 R's for successful fundraising. We're ready to release the startup to sustainability. I'm doing some edit, but we have some things that's available to you right now. Go to my website. Let me go back over there. Mark, do I have that? I'm looking. I feel like I'm almost all over the place. I saw it, the WIPD. There we go. You can go there to the website. And on the website, there's a pin. When you click and you'll find it, and at the top, it leads you right into the 1-minute prayer. But on the side, you click and you'll find some of the resources that are there. And if you can't find them, DM me directly, write me directly, so that we can make sure we get you those resources that you need. And so remember, your mission and your vision, it does not have to shrink. It doesn't have to you don't have to stop and change what you do. Let me help you. I don't want to say it that way, because what I tell people all the time, the funder doesn't want to fund they don't want to fund proselytizing. They don't want to fund evangelism. No, that's not what they want to do. They want to fund you helping somebody. And there are people that you're serving. I don't care if it's in Bible study, after school program, and why not? Why not make your Bible study an after school program? And we do that right here at Macedonia. 1 hour before Bible study, the young people can come in, and there's even a college student here this past Tuesday that I watched. They come here, they get their tutoring, there are adults here to help them through their schoolwork. And then afterwards, they get to eat something and have Bible study. That's fundable. Y'all hear what I'm telling you? And you need to turn around and make those kind of changes, huh? Because ministry has value, and we need to label it right. What you're doing, we just need to put the right terminology, change the name. For example, your maybe VBS. We're getting ready to do Vacation Bible School here. Well, that's a youth enrichment literacy and STEM program. And you know what? We have all 3 right here in Macedonia. You can have the same thing in your location. Again, I'm talking to faith-based organizations and churches, but a lot of nonprofits have that same dilemma where they have the wrong name that we have to just rearrange the way we say it to show your impact and the partnerships that you have accomplishing your goal. How about prayer bunch? In Youngstown, we used to have a noonday prayer brunch for the women specifically. Well, how about we call that mental health day? And we just did that right here. Believe it. Now, here's something. We had that same type of impact just on April 26th right here at Macedonia, here in April. Guess what? Funded by PNC Bank. We had a health and wellness. It actually was a health and wealth summit. PNC came. We had 2 hospitals come. We had a alternative health, a doctor in alternative health come, and we provided information to the community. We had enough money to buy lunches. We had enough money to cover the cost of everything we needed, advertising. It was funded. Why? Because instead of just having, we're going to have the nurses come together and give screening. No, we labeled it properly, Health and Wealth Summit, and got funding to do the same thing. You can do that. Instead of just having Ursula's training, how about calling it hospitality and workforce development? Workforce development. Now we're training them we're coaching them to not just serve in the church, but we coach them how to have etiquette in the community. You're feeding people. You're providing food after school programs, or you're giving food away throughout the week or whatever. Nutrition assistant program. There are people out there that's willing to fund that. Our daycare used to be funded by the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services in Ohio. Every state has a different name. But in Ohio, we were funded by them approximately $150,000 annually. That was enough money to cover staff, the food. We were able to put a portion of our utility cost in there. We were able to write a portion of our rent in that budget. I was talking to a client of mine out of Houston, Texas, Brother Jose, I'm going to say it. And we're talking about his church that's building and how they can help pay for that church. Well, Funder's not going to pay for your church building, the building of your church, but they will pay for the programs that you put in that church. And using those same programs, guess what, somebody? You can begin to itemize portions of your utility costs, your building, the renting, and you can rent from yourself. Why? Because you separate your nonprofit. I'm talking to a new client out of Illinois yesterday. We separate the LLC, create the nonprofit. Now the nonprofit can rent from the LLC or even purchase from the LLC, depending on what your LLC business is. There are ways to seed your ministry and grow your church. And if you're doing things properly, then we can help you get that right vision, get the wording that you need, and create that nonprofit arm that's separate. Right here in Macedonia, we have a separate arm that provides housing, low-income housing. We have a separate arm. A part of that separate arm, we provide training for CNAs to go to school, workforce development. We're funded almost $50,000 a year just to help people train to go become a CNA. So I'm telling you what we do. So not what we want you to do. We're talking about what can be done, what's already being done. And whatever we're doing here with WePete Inc., whatever I'm doing, y'all, I want you to know I want to help you do the same thing. Go to my website, link into me, come to me, find me, let me show you what to do. We're getting ready to set up. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. The WePete access to Kingdom Fundraisers Academy. As I said, I've been doing this since early 2000. When my son, they were in a group called, well, I'm not going to go into that. When they were in a singing group, a gospel recording group, and they were able to record. That first record was done under the help of Fred Hammond, and it was released. And they were able to travel, and they needed to raise funds to do so. And I was asked to help find ways to raise those funds. My wife and two people at the church that I was attending, we were trying to get the church to help fund that. And the pastor was trying to build a building. He didn't want to hear me raising money for these kids, even though some of them were part of the church, but they had a bigger vision. So I had to come up with ways to help raise money. And there was a gentleman that was a member of the church that was a part of the Community Development Corporation in that city. And he talked to me about doing it alternative. And then I found they got me to a grant writing seminar. And that's what changed my vision and understanding on how to help churches change. That's all the way back in the early 2000s. And since then, I've been working for you to help change the vision that you have for your church and to help change the vision of the way you serve and provide community impact. And if you just change the name of a few things, keep having church. If you buy that book, if you go to Amazon and get that book, Taxes and Tithes, That's Your Money, you're going to see that in the first chapter. It says, Pastor, just be the pastor. Just be pastor. But in the article, it says there are people that are members of your church right now. My client up in Jacksonville, we're talking about that with her church in Jacksonville. And You know, she's a member of a church and they're doing things in Jamaica. And what she wants to do, what she is doing, is coming together and we're working on the same type of thing to provide education and assistance for the students in a school and church in Jamaica. They're doing it in Jacksonville. You can do it where you are. So no matter what your vision is, we can take your vision out of your head, put it on paper, and we put that bad boy on the pavement, and we can make it grow. And if that's something you're interested in doing, don't forget. Can go to my Linktree page, look at all my social medias. But even better than that, I want you to go to my website, Repeat Inc. Connect to my calendar. Schedule some time with me. Let's spend 30 minutes talking about how to get that vision off paper. Let's spend some time talking about how to get, if your organization is you already got your 501c3s and you got all your nonprofit stuff. Then let's talk about how to go from startup to sustainability, whatever vision you have. And if you don't have your paperwork, let's talk about how to get the paperwork, because I need you to know it is necessary for you to do that. You need to take your ministry or those things that you can fund. And I know a lot of you pastors, a lot of you leaders, faith-based leaders, I don't want to fool with government. Okay. This ain't for everybody. I'm honest enough to say this vision, it's in my book. That vision is not for everybody. Some folks just want to have church. Well, you go ahead and have church. But if you look around you, and a lot of the, I'm going to say faith-based organizations out there, you look at some of the mega churches, that's exactly what they do. That's why they grow, because they take their ministry and they make it a mission. And when you're doing mission work, then all we need to do is show the impact that you're making with that mission work. Find partners that's going to fund it. And that's what WeP does. That's exactly what WeP does. We help you organize, become a faith-based organization that's providing impact and services in the community. And we'll show you how to make that work so that you can grow your vision the way God has called you to do it. Trust me, God, the Bible said that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. There's dollars that we fund the government. There are taxpayer dollars. And I realize maybe here in the United States, we might see things being shut off and changed. But trust me, funding sources are not going to die. They're not going to die. They're not going to die. They're going to find ways to fund things. And all we have to do is research it. My 5 R's for successful fundraising, the very first R is research. Look for the people out there. Read what they're doing. Most organizations that fund, and again, watch this. You have organizations like Walmart, Home Depot, Target, Staples, the organization that they have community divisions. How about foundations, your banks, your hospitals that have foundations? Those people fund initiatives. And so often we're looking for $100,000 grants when you can get 10 people to give you $5,000 and you just had 50 in a way that you never thought. I don't have a problem looking for small grants because they add up too. And a lot of those smaller grants, they don't all have specifics that I have to do. Sometimes you can get a small grant and you're telling them what you want to use it for, and things shift. We just had that done with a hospital here. Things shifted. And so what we needed to do was ask the hospital, can we repurpose the dollars that you gave us? And they said yes. And now we're able to expand what we were doing and instead of shrink it. That's what I'm here to help you do. So join Kingdom Fundraisers Network, or keep telling somebody about it. Look for our Kingdom Fundraisers Academy, where you will be able to, we'll be doing monthly sessions where everybody comes together. But throughout the week, if needed, you have access to me directly, and you have access to all of these resources that I'm talking about. I have PDF guides specifically for churches, for example. I have PDF guides specifically for nonprofits. I have an A to Z guide that will carry you throughout the year. And if you do all of the checkpoints on my A to Z guide for nonprofits, guess what? You will not fail. because it covers everything from management um, to how to keep your place open and clean. Um, your all of the things that's on it, I'm escaping my head. Connect with me and find out, and you'll be able to get those resources. They'll be available to you. So remember, if you're faith-based, then don't be afraid of funding. There's a way to get your mission, your vision off of paper onto the vision, onto the pavement. There's a way for us to change your ministry, or not change it. Let me take that out. I keep saying change, and I'm not trying to change anything, but I am trying to enhance it. It's a way for us to enhance your ministry into the mission that provides impact to your community that individuals will want to fund. Thanks for joining me today. I hope I said something to help you. I have so much of that in me. I probably talk too fast, but I'm here to serve. Remember, next week, maybe we'll just do a replay of this one here so that you're able to get this information next week, and so that we can help you enhance your ministry. And so you'll see a replay. Come back and get it, if this information is good for you. And don't forget to share it with somebody else. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you this time next week.